You want to know what really sets me off? It's not the years I spent getting shot at overseas. It's not the long nights, or even the scars that don't heal. No. What gets me boiling faster than anything is when somebody tries to mess with my family. And recently, a group of people tried exactly that, targeting my 93-year-old mother on her own land. In Texas, they thought they were clever, calling themselves an HOA enforcement team. But they picked the wrong ranch, the wrong woman, and the wrong son. See, my mom, Evelyn, has lived on this ranch for more than 60 years. My dad bought it after coming back from the service, and she's kept it running ever since. The taxes are paid, the deed is clear, and here's the kicker. There is no HOA anywhere near us. None. But that didn't stop three guys in tucked-in polo shirts from marching right up the gravel driveway. One morning with clipboards under their arms. Stenciled across their backs were the words, HOA enforcement. They acted like they owned the place. Said her flower beds didn't meet community uniformity standards. Said her barn was blocking their view corridor. I'll be honest with you, those aren't even real violations. They just sounded official enough to scare someone. But my mom, she's tough as nails. She raised 5 kids, survived Texas droughts, and buried my dad out here on this land. She wasn't about to fold because a couple of clipboard cowboys showed up pretending to be important. Still, she's 93. She shouldn't have to deal with people like that. So I stepped outside. Calmly, I told them there's no HOA here, and even if there were, Texas property law doesn't give them 1 inch of authority without a signed agreement, which we don't have. So they were trespassing. That's when one of them, a stocky guy with wraparound shades, gave me this smug little smirk and said, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." Now, I've heard that line before, usually from people who had no idea what they were about to get into. My instincts flipped from polite to protective in a heartbeat. Years in the Navy SEALs taught me how to de-escalate, sure, but also how to end the threat fast if needed. The first guy made the mistake of moving toward my mom, like he was going to push past me. I caught his wrist, twisted, and used his own momentum to send him face first into the gravel. He stayed down, clutching his arm. The second, taller one, grabbed for my shoulder from behind. I pivoted, swept his legs out from under him, and he hit the dirt hard, clipboards scattering into the dust. The third one froze, then reached into his shirt like he was going for something. That's when I closed the gap, hooked his arm, and pinned him against the barn wall. Out came a cheap folding knife. "Let me guess," I told him while holding him in place. "This isn't about flowers or barns, is it?" He tried to act tough, spat on the ground, then finally admitted it. My mom's land was prime development property. His boss wanted it, and apparently he doesn't take no for an answer. That was all I needed to hear. Trespassing, extortion, impersonating an HOA in Texas. That's enough for prison time. I zip-tied their wrists with the plastic ties I keep in my truck. sat them in the shade of the barn like 3 schoolboys in detention, and called the sheriff. Meanwhile, I checked on Mom inside. She was calm as ever, sipping her tea at the kitchen table. She looked up at me with that little grin of hers and said, "They came for the wrong ranch." Didn't they? 15 minutes later, the sheriff's cruiser pulled up. Once he saw the body cam footage from my vest, he didn't waste a second. He told me these guys weren't on any HOA registry at all. They were muscle, hired through a private security company tied to a developer. He'd been building a case on them. They were loaded into patrol cars and hauled off. But I knew this wasn't over. And I was right. 2 days later, I spotted a brand new black Escalade rolling slow up the gravel drive. Now, out here in ranch country, an Escalade isn't a friendly, neighborly visit. It's trouble. I stepped off the porch and planted my boots in the dirt between the SUV and my mom's front door. The driver's door opened. Out stepped a slick man in a tailored navy suit, gold cufflinks flashing in the sunlight. 2 big men flanked him, bigger than the first crew, moving like they'd done this kind of work before. The suited man looked me up and down, then smiled. Smoothly, "Mr. Kane, I believe there's been a misunderstanding. I'm willing to make this all go away if your mother is reasonable." I kept my voice even. "By reasonable, you mean signing over her deed for pennies on the dollar, right?" His smile didn't reach his eyes. "We both know this land is wasted on cattle and barns. My investors want to build here. You can either take my offer now or deal with my men." See, his mistake was thinking I'd hesitate. The first guard stepped forward and I closed the gap, open palm to his chest, driving him back into the Escalade hard enough to rattle its suspension. The second reached for me. I hooked his arm, spun him, and dropped him to the dirt. Smooth as training drills, the boss took half a step back, his confidence draining. "You think you can stop progress?" he snapped. I pulled my phone from my pocket, tapped the sheriff's number, and told him flat out, "I already have. You sent men to threaten my mom. I've got every second on camera. Add attempted coercion, criminal trespass, and conspiracy to your list. Oh, and by the way, I'm a Navy SEAL. You won't win the physical fight either." Right then, the sheriff's cruiser rolled up again, sirens cutting through the quiet. The suited man tried to retreat to his Escalade, but he didn't make it. The cuffs clicked. The SUV got towed, and the so-called developer was on his way to jail with his hired muscle. When it was all said and done, Mom stepped out onto the porch, still holding her tea. The steam curled in the morning air. She took one sip, smiled, and said, "Guess we're not selling, are we?" I smiled back at her. "No, Mom, we're not selling. And if anyone else tries, they'll find me waiting."